Hi, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of the Chicago Techies podcast, a podcast focused on highlighting the voices of Chicago Techies and their experiences. This season, we'll be focusing on students looking to enter or entering the Chicago tech community. I'm your host, Ceci F.B. Thank you for joining us. On today's episode, I am joined by Jason Guzman, aspiring cloud engineer and rising junior at DePaul University. Hi, Jason. It's so nice to meet you, and thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of the Chicago Techies podcast. I'm really excited to get to hear from you and talk about your career trajectory, your goals, aspirations, and your experience in general as you're looking to transition into the tech community in the coming years. I would love to learn about you. Please feel free to state your name, your pronouns, where you're from, and your current role.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. This is a really cool experience. So my name is Jason Guzman. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm born and raised in the south side of Chicago, the Gage Park neighborhood specifically. And right now, I'm currently a full-time student at DePaul University. I'm majoring in computer science with a concentration in software development. But I think my biggest dream right now is like being a cloud engineer. So just working with AWS and stuff like that. And my current role right now, I'm an intern at a small business here in Chicago. It's the name of Packed with Purpose.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and that sounds really exciting. I've definitely had people already from DePaul, and I think it's a great school. So I'm always happy to chat with people from DePaul. Now, let's kind of go back to pre-college, right? Or what high school did you go to?
Yeah, so I went to Curie High School here in Chicago. It's a really big high school. I think my class size was like almost 1,000 students. So it was a pretty big school.
Wow. Yeah, actually, I'm pretty familiar with Curie. I used to work at a high school actually in the south side of Chicago for at least 5 years back from 2011 to 2016. And I was actually a competitor of like Curie. I used to convince students to come to my school instead. Did Curie, and just out of curiosity, did they have like a good STEM program there?
Oh yeah, Curie has a lot of really good programs. I feel like I do want to give props to that. So I think a couple of the really important ones to point out is the CTE program. It's Career Technical Education, which is related to STEM and other stuff. The IB program, which is like the college readiness and very rigorous course program, and then the AVID program, which helps a lot with college. But for me, I went to Curie and I majored in web design. So like at Curie, funny enough, there's majors. So the CTE program, Career Technical Education, had web design, computer science, and it had automotive, so like learning how to become a mechanic, and graphic design programs. And I think there was a couple more, but I think those are the ones that I saw really interest in.
Oh wow, I did not know that. You said it's a CTE program?
Yep, Career Technical Education. I think a couple other high schools have it, and it's they're focused in STEM related fields and stuff.
Got it. Wow, that's really cool. When I was at the school working, we had a specific concentrations that were only for architecture, construction, and engineering. And students could also get like jobs and go to internships to study those kind of fields. But I didn't realize that Curie actually had like web design even. So what does that look like when you're a high school student? Do you start learning languages right away, or what is it that you start learning at first?
Yeah, so for for web design, the case is you start your freshman year like a regular student. You're doing your regular classes. And then from there, sophomore through senior is when things pick up. So sophomore year, you would meet at that time, your web design teacher and stuff. And then you really start off with just some simple HTML, really, just cute little like code.com or code.org or like, Scratch. Sometimes we did some like Scratch stuff, and then we would like do some stuff on some web design stuff related to that. But it was mostly just really simple stuff, learning understanding what code is and how it works, the syntax of HTML. And that's really the beginning of it. And once you get to junior, senior year, you're working with JavaScript and you're making small websites and stuff. And the whole program really I think did a good job in introducing people to technology, whether it's like a little bit more deeper than just using it. You get to understand, how websites are made and like uh career paths in that field. So you do you do have the opportunity to make really good portfolio worthy stuff in high school year.
Yeah, wow, that's really impressive. I actually did not no didn't think that a high school would, have those. I mean, I knew about the STEM focused high schools that do have these kind of programs, but I didn't realize that like other Chicago public schools do too. So that's great to hear. Now, when you're a high school senior, let's say you're getting ready to graduate, but I'm curious, was it those programs that kind of influenced you to kind of focus on technology and focus on computer science as your major, or how did you come about choosing your major?
I think my case is really unique. I feel like I've been really lucky to know that I wanted to work in technology for a long time. I want to say like, I don't know, when I was like what in elementary school, something like that. And that's why I decided to go to Curie because I was like, this school has a web design program. I think that's a really good way to get my foot into the door that is technology, coding. So when I was a middle schooler, applying to high schools, I was like interested in, something along those lines. I know there was a lot of different choices, selective enrollment schools or stuff, around my neighborhood. And I was just like, Curie isn't a neighborhood school for me, so I had to apply to it. And so I applied to a couple of the programs and ended up getting to the web design one. So everything, worked out in my favor. And I was like, I was really excited to, like I said, to get my foot into the door with technology. And so from web design, I think it was just more of a stepping stone for me. I was like, I want to leverage everything that I learn here and, hopefully it translates to something further down the line.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up happening. I tried my best to connect with teachers, and try to learn as much as I could about web design, technology in general. And once I knew that, what computer science was, I was like, I think I want to do computer science. And that's how I ended up majoring in computer science. I like to shout out Curie High School, I think, and shout out my web design teacher, Miss Westmoreland. She really pushed me the last 2 years of my high school career. And she really did motivate me to keep on pushing when there were days that I really didn't want to do much. I think Miss West really played a big part in my high school career. And Curie High School also did a really good job offering the CTE program and offering all these other really important programs that I know helped other students, get to where they want to be.
Wow. So that's that's incredible. First of all, I don't think I meet that many like middle schoolers that are already focused on kind of like what they want to do in the future. Like that's just something that I definitely didn't have, and something that I didn't even know what I wanted to do. When I got to high school. But so how did that come about? Your love for technology and your love for like that kind of career that you envisioned for like, when you were about to start high school and then college, like what kicked it off?
Yeah, I like to credit my uncle. He's pretty young. He's still pretty young. At the time, like I said, I was like a little baby compared to him, but he really showed me just he really liked computers a lot. He'd buy his computer, laptop and stuff, and he'd also play a lot of video games and stuff. So, I would always catch him on a computer or like playing video games or something like that. And that's where I guess my wanting for a computer was because he would use it all the time. And once I was able to convince him that I wanted a computer, he was able to convince my mom to buy me a computer. And then from there, I was like, I just fell in love with technology. I was very like into it. I think highlights for me was just like PC troubleshooting. Like for me, I was clumsy and I was messing things up. I think that's a very common thing though with tech people. I feel like you got to break something, to really learn what it is and stuff like that. So for me, I was on a laptop, like this is like what Windows Vista or something, and I was like out here getting viruses and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix my computer and just learning all these like crazy like keyboard shortcuts. And at the time, I was like, well, this is really cool. And then from there, it really just stemmed into like deeper hardware learning, about like different cables, like VGA cables and stuff like this. And I was always that kid in class that was like offering to help the teacher with computer assistance and stuff like that. So technology, like, I guess it's cheesy to say, but it's like technology is like one of my biggest passions. And that's why I'm doing the things that I'm doing because I just love technology. And I'm a very I think, very curious person. So
No, that's awesome. I think that's definitely speaks to you, and being passionate about something. I really like that story. I mean, I've heard a couple of, as I've talked to people over the last few months and really years, it's only a few people that have said that they credit their family, but just because, normally, like, as you know, like Hispanic culture, a lot of us don't have those resources, or we don't see people that look like us in these kind of roles. So I'm glad that you had at least that one uncle that was immersed in tech and was able to support you and kind of like feed into your passion as well. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. Like, going back to now your college experience, were you involved in any campus groups, or have you been involved in campus groups, or how do what do you leverage in order to learn more about your next step as you're a junior, but then come senior year, and after that obviously it's tech world. So what are you leveraging in campus right now to start getting networks, and how to do the next thing? Like, how are you learning, and from where?
At DePaul, it's kind of difficult to be involved in groups. Well, for me, just because I'm a commuter student, so I commute to the downtown campus, and it's not the same as if I was living on campus. I don't get to see the same people all the time, and I'm not around the same people. So it is a little bit of a mission to track down these groups and stay connected. But luckily, I have been managed to be able to join a couple groups. I think some of the ones that I think are really important and have helped me really feel at home at DePaul have been one of them called Generation Success. And it started off as a class, actually. It started off as a class dedicated to first generation students who are, trying to navigate this whole new world of post-secondary, education. It helped a lot because the class was, like I said, dedicated to that, but it also helped me really just meet new people who are also in my, same situation, being the first to go to college. So these people, I still talk to a couple of them, to this day. And I'm going to be a junior, so I met them freshman year. So it's been a minute. Building that sense of community at the beginning was really important. Connecting with people who are in different areas in the university, different majors. So having a group like that, I was able to learn about other opportunities, that were around DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another program that I was a part of, the STARS mentoring program, which mentored me also as a beginning college student for the first year. Also, just teaching me about DePaul, teaching me about just like the common, the common issues and worries that students have starting school.
Got it. And actually, that was my next question. Like, have you had access to mentorship as you started at DePaul and you navigate through your career?
Yeah, luckily I've been able to have a lot of different mentors during my college experience that have helped me not just navigating college, but just like professionally too. I get to look up to some people, I feel like some of them are even mentors that like aren't even official mentors, but just like people in my life that I'm like, yo, like this person makes me want to, do better, like makes me want to be a better version of myself. So I have had a lot of people help me out on the long way.
Yeah. Now, the mentorship program that you mentioned earlier, is it STARS mentoring program, I think? Was that a structured program, or how does that work?
Yeah, that one was a program that was created by the Office of Multicultural Success, and it's a program that I was structured, and then the mentors were also paid to help. So it was, I think, a win-win. You get to mentor someone, and you're making money too. So like, it's, I think, an overall good program.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Now, as you look toward graduation, still a little bit away, but I'm sure that you're already using resources that are kind of helping you figure out that next move. What are you looking for? Are you looking for external groups or meetups or even just events that you're looking to lean on as you decide what's next once college is done?
Tough question. It's a very scary one that I still haven't really thought about. Being a junior now, it's crazy how time has come by. But I definitely try my hardest to be a part of tech groups around here in Chicago. I think, and just tech groups in general. I've joined a couple tech groups that are mostly, like I've mentioned before, aimed at just helping people who look like me.
Mhm.
People who are, like Latinx groups. I think you know about Techeria. I think that one's a really good, helpful group. I get to really see people who are like me, and they're being successful, and it's really nice to see that, And I've been part of other groups, smaller groups that just offer, whether it's in my case, it would be like just, software engineering help, like, interview prep, or, just offering resources and offering their network to their people who are a part of the group.
And how do you find these groups? Like, how do you hear about them? Did you go and find the career yourself, or did somebody recommend it to you? Like, how do you find these resources?
It's a mixed bag of mostly my network. I feel like I've met a couple people just all across just my career path in DePaul, and just meeting people. I've met a lot of people in tech, and I've met people who are nice enough in tech to, like, actually want to share their resources and stuff, because I feel like sometimes some people just don't want to see other people succeed. I think it's the sad truth, but there are some really nice people out there who, wanna help anyone and everybody, as much as they can. So most of the programs that I've learned about are all through just my network of people around Chicago and DePaul.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. And I actually, it's credit to you too. It takes a lot to be curious and to ask questions and to be exposed to people. And it can be intimidating when you're only, a student, that you don't have you may feel like you don't have much to contribute, but in reality you really do. And I'm glad that you are working on building your network, because that is crucial. I think for anyone that is interested in obviously everybody's going to a career, right? Like everybody's going toward that, but it's on you a lot of those times to also step out of your comfort zone and find resources and meet people and kind of open up. I think that's super important, and I'm glad that you're doing it. And even with 2 more years to go, like you're already kind of setting yourself up for success by opening networks and things like that. So congrats, that's really an accomplishment.
Thank you very much. I try, it's I feel like I'm very, very ambitious, and, I'm really thirsty for success. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Now, as you mentioned that you are doing an internship, and that's actually one of my next questions. I'm really curious to know, like, what are some of the resources that you guys have available as college? Like, do different companies come to campus and share their internships, or how do you go about applying for internships, and how are you learning about all these opportunities? Do you have someone at school that you go to, or what is it? How do you find those internships experiences?
Again, I feel like I've also been lucky, and I think I have a very unique experience when it comes to getting internships. I'm a part of this nonprofit program owned by the Obama Job Youth Corps. It's or not owned, but like they work together. And so the program is called Urban Alliance, and they help students, just land internships. It starts off as a high school program, and that's how I started off in Urban Alliance. My senior year of high school, I was able to intern at a really good place, and from there, so the internship works is you're basically going to school as a senior, in high school, and you're also working half the day. So it's like a co-op type program. I feel like that's what they call it, and that's how I was able to land my first internship. And from there, I've just been an alumni of Urban Alliance, and I've been lucky enough to receive internships through them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually, and we have a friend in common, and that's, Jimena Cortez. And she actually is the one who introduced me to Urban Alliance and their work. So I'm really happy to hear that, that program is still going and that people are really getting involved with it. Now, is Urban Alliance in all high schools, or is it just selected high schools, or how do they get to work with students?
Yeah, Urban Alliance. In the case for Chicago, it's only a good chunk of high schools. It's a specific amount of high schools. It's a good chunk of them, and they're a national program, so they have other chapters in other different states. But here in Chicago, it's just a certain amount of high schools.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I believe that's what my friend, that's our friend Jimena also, kind of stumble upon a lot of different opportunities because of her involvement there. So, um, so I'm assuming that you willingly decided to work with Urban Alliance, or was that a part of a project, or something that your school made you do it, or is it something that that interests you?
Yeah, it was definitely something that was very interesting to me at the time. I remember the thing that like really caught my attention was the fact that they worked with a lot of different companies here in Chicago. And I remember like when they were done with the presentation, I looked up Urban Alliance on Google and it was like their partners list was like really nice. I was like, whoa, I was like, these are like really big companies. And I was like, thinking ahead to the future, I was like, if I get to intern at a company like this, I'm sure that that'll open a crazy amount of doors. So that's how I ended up deciding that I wanted to be a part of the program.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're definitely ready. You had your vision from a while ago, and that's great. I mean, I think that's definitely that's ambitious and something that it says a lot about a person. And I'm just really excited to hear that all of these things kind of fell into place for you based on your decisions and your interests. That's really cool. Now, as you have 2 years now under your belt with university, and now you're moving forward to toward your junior year and then your senior year. What do you think has been the most challenging thing for you as you navigate through college and thinking ahead for the future? What's something that some of the challenges that you're seeing?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest challenge for me is just the rigor of school. School is, I mean, very difficult, especially during the pandemic and stuff right now. School definitely has gotten a little harder just because it's not the same. But even at that, I feel like school is just something that, is a pain point for a lot of people. Uh, Another thing that I'm really scared of, I guess I could say, is just trying to find a job after college. I know that computer science and tech is just, always booming, but I feel like there's still some luck to it, some like skill to it. So it's, having to really study up on, computer science topics and meeting the right people. I think those two are the biggest things that are the biggest challenges for me. Just finishing school and getting ready to, for the interview process, the infamous interview process in tech.
Yeah. Now, aside from Urban Alliance, are there other like websites that you like check for internship opportunities? I know that Google has a lot of them. Obviously, Facebook and all the big tech giants have internships. I know that Grace Hopper is a big one, but mostly for young women that are in school. What are other resources that you or men in general that are young men in college are looking at? Do you have is there a specific database that you guys go in and check for roles or things like that? Or how do you check for internships?
Yeah, the two biggest things for me is LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is the one that I use the most. And then for school, it's Handshake. So Handshake is I think it exists in almost every university. It's like, their platform, a platform that, it's like a job board type thing or internships are posted and stuff. But for me, I mostly use LinkedIn, when I want to either when I want to look for another internship or like, maybe I'm curious about this role at a company, like, what are the qualifications, what are the requirements, so I like to just look at stuff like that, those type of postings, and really like guide myself, so like I can say, oh, I need to learn this, or I should focus on this. So it's, LinkedIn for me is the biggest one.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's really cool. I was always curious about what students are using to find access to internships and whatnot. Um, and I actually I'm working with I'm a program manager at Latinos in Tech, and we have events basically every week, and we partner with different organizations and big tech corporations, I guess. And we are starting this small branch or initiative called Latinos in Tech University, where we're going to try to, kind of like reach out to Latina women and Latinx, really, like men as well, like in college that are going through this experience that may need a little bit more advice or may need more resources or access to internships. Do you believe that this is a need? Do you think that that we need to focus more resources and add more resources to Latinx folks going through school, like first generation students. Is this something that you think will be valuable, or what do you think the need is?
I think the need is there. It's 100%. I'm very passionate about this topic. I feel like I said, being a first generation student, it's something that is so scary, having to navigate college and being the first and having people around you that, are also going through it, people who have gone through it. And, you can see, you can put a face, to someone, like, oh, this person's Latinx and they're doing this now, and they look like me, or they're, they can relate to similar experiences that I've gone through. So I think that, Latinx, or regardless of whatever, ethnic group it is, I think that representation is really important, regardless of, like I said, uh, ethnic background, or like the role, or like industry. I think it's always nice to see someone that you can relate to, doing something that you want to do.
Yeah. So now, as far as like looking ahead, right, for your next couple of years of the Paul, and as you start like kind of navigating to what it's like to get into tech and transition, what excites you the most about potentially getting a role, your first role in a tech company? What's the most exciting thing for you?
I think the most exciting thing is just being someone in tech. I feel like I said, it's been a lifelong dream, to be working in tech. And uh like recently I thought about this. I'm like, before I would dream about being a software engineer, but now it's like not a dream anymore. It's gonna happen very soon. So it's like it gives me a rush of emotions, because it's like, I've gone my whole life wanting this, so to finally get there is going to be something very rewarding. And I'm just excited to be able to work in technology, do the things that I love and continue learning. I hope to really give back. For my case, having Urban Alliance be very important in my life. I hope that I can become a mentor for someone. I think that to me is just something that I need to do. I want to mentor someone, and I want to give someone the opportunity to see a whole new world, because that's how I felt, when I was first interning, my senior year. It was a whole new world, and to have someone who was willing to, show me it, tell me about it, and really just inspire me, it's something very valuable, and I do want to give someone that feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah, I think it's it's wild when you have this idea, when you've been when you were a kid, really, like
Yeah.
head into what could be for you one day, and you just holding on to that dream and holding on to that and working hard for it. Like it's coming, it's happening, you're living it
Yeah.
now. It used to be a far away thought, but now you're getting closer than ever. I think that's definitely something
Yeah.
to be really proud of. Now, what else motivates you, to be here where you are, to keep going? What's your biggest motivation?
I think the biggest motivation that I have is just the people that I've met, like, around my whole life. People who pushed me, people who believed in me. I think those are people that motivate me the most. People who I've met, and they've told me, wow, like, you're doing really good, good job, you got this, and stuff like that. I feel like that's my biggest motivator. When things get tough, you know, I wanna show those people that, believed in me, because I feel like I still have so much more to give, and so much more to become. So I feel like, those people, I don't want to let them down, and I don't think I will, but I want to show them that, that those words that they told me, that, that they believed in me, and, that they hope for the best for me, they weren't for no reason.
Yeah, that matters, right? Like that's something that you hold on to dearly. That's really great. Now, I know we talked briefly about this, but besides getting a job and moving into that first role, what are some of the goals that you have for your future? Besides being a mentor, besides being in tech, what are some goals that you have for yourself?
I think one of the biggest goals is just being happy. Getting back to my family would be a big one. Yeah, I think I can encompass everything of just being happy. Uh, I feel like once all those things are done, I feel like the biggest thing is just to relax. I think that just relaxing and enjoying life for what it is. I feel like there are a lot of things I want to do, and things I want to go see. So those things are definitely things that I look forward to.
Yeah, that's great. Family is everything for me too.
Yeah.
Now, I probably should have asked this before this one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Now, what is one thing that you wish you knew that you didn't know before about your career, like in general, whether that's a college experience or this internship experience as you're navigating through your career? What's one thing you didn't know that you wish you knew before?
I think the biggest thing, I mean, for my role, like I guess software engineering was like being like crazy smart at math. I think that was actually like a big like, but I'm not good at math. Like, should I still major in computer science? And yeah, that's obviously not important. Math is important, but like it's not like you don't have to be crazy good at math to be a good software engineer. And that's one thing I would have told myself or reassured myself when I was a little younger, to not worry so much about that.
Yeah. Oh my God. I agreed. I feel like so many people have this like love or hate relationship with math.
Yeah.
And math literally like paralyzes people about, things about their careers. Like they think that if they're not good at science or math, then they probably cannot be this or cannot be that. And we put so much emphasis in that, I think, when you're younger, but in reality, like, chill. Like it's not
Yes,
the end of the world.
100%.
C in math or a D in math. You're passing. Hey, you're passing.
I agree, 100%.
Nice. Well, what is one parting, words of advice for somebody that is, either a sophomore or a freshman, or even someone in junior or senior year in college right now? What's one piece of advice that you wish you would have known or that you can share with someone?
I didn't prepare anything really good, but I feel like the thing that I tell myself a lot is as long as you believe in your dream and you know that you're truly working for it, I think everything will work out. So maybe things at the moment may not look like it, but I always look at myself, and well, when I say that, I look past and I'm like, oh, in the past I've really gone through things that I thought would stop me, but in turn, better things have come. So just stick to your dream, believe in it, and everything will work out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, perseverance, right? Like that's the biggest.
Yeah, perseverance and grit. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there are many times that even as you're this age, but even after your first role or your second role, there will come a time that you will fall again, that you may like get laid off or may lose your job for whatever X reason or something happens. Like, it's important to just like get with it and like stick through everything and work hard, because you can achieve it. You can achieve anything you set your mind to. And some days you're going to feel like you just want to bottle, like, curl up and just have a beer and do nothing else because you don't want to. And that's okay. You can have those days, but just don't dwell on those bad days, because, as long as you work hard and you believe in yourself, you'll definitely achieve your dreams. I really like that advice too.
Yeah.
Now, thank you for sharing all of that. Now, I want to give the opportunity for people to connect with you. If they want to reach out, do you have a LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or email, whatever it is that you want to share? I'd be happy to share with folks.
Yeah, I think the best way to connect with me, like I said, is LinkedIn. Jason Guzman, DePaul University, class of 2023. And I have a Twitter. It's Jason01. Jason01 Guzman. So at Jason01 Guzman. And yeah, those are, I think, the two best places to reach me.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely also put those on the show notes. So feel free to also email me those if you want. But yeah, that's great. I thank you again so much for jumping on this call. I know that it can be intimidating sometimes to share your story and share your points of view. So I really appreciate you joining me. I'm sure this is going to be super helpful for someone that may be in the same shoes that, where you were about a year ago or something. So thank you for joining us. This is really fun.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, it's really, I think this is a bucket list I don't even know I had, being on a podcast. So, and I love podcasts. So having the opportunity to be on one is amazing. So thank you very much.
No problem. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Chicago Techies podcast. If you enjoyed listening, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review on iTunes. Let's continue the conversation on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us at Chicago Techies on all social media channels. Thank you again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.